Yo, 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 you tuning in to the Notion Podcast. I'm your host, Dizzy D Spill, and I'm bringing another episode of Outlawed Opinions, but it's just me. Poe, where are you at, Poe? Poe, where are you at? Nah, I'm just joking with you guys. Yeah, we're getting into outlawed opinions, and I don't want to waste any time with you guys. I just want to get into it because there's so much information out there. There's so much stuff that's been happening over the past week and still happening as we speak. No rhyme intended. But before we get into it, please make sure you like, subscribe to the channel. If this is your first time, please turn your notifications on because we here every week at the Notion Podcast. All right. Getting right into it. Sharing my synopsis. For those that don't know and those that already know, Jess Hilarious, and please forgive me if I'm saying the sister's name right or wrong, or forgive me if I'm saying it wrong, Lynae Vanee, I think that's what her name is. So, Lynae Vanee is basically a public figure, an activist in certain ways, came on to the Breakfast Club recently to share her news about her new show and basically letting people know what she's about, things of that nature. And I want to say that the Breakfast Club episode was around a little bit over 30 minutes in the episode, right? As far as runtime. And basically, throughout the episode, they're talking about different things, talking about her background. She went to Spelman, definitely got some pro-black traits and things of that nature. And she started talking about dating life and having a partner. And in the midst of that conversation and her making a statement about having a partner and, you know, the need for a partner and stuff like that, Jess Hilarious took the opportunity to say, make sure you find a partner that understands that only women can have babies. Ouch, right? For those that don't know, Jess Hilarious has always been in the news, always been under fire for her comments and her sentiments about her stance on being a woman. The reason why I'm going to word it like that is because those that are offended by Jess Hilarious like to call her homophobic. Basically, what I've learned about this time that we live in is when you disagree with something, you get a label. If you disagree with DEI or certain things involving the progression of the black community, you are a white supremacist, you are a racist. If you disagree with anything in the LGBTQ community, you are considered homophobic, which is kind of confusing because there's so many different categories. But I guess the rebuttal, if you disagree with that, is one word. My thoughts on Jess Hilarious is, first of all, if she's been known, which I have seen things over the years, but if she's really been known for sharing strong opinions about the other community, I don't want to say why are people shocked, but I'm kind of confused on why so many people are so triggered. There's always going to be people that are triggered and have good reasons to be triggered, but why are so many people so triggered if that's her, you know, her personality or what she feels? That's a question you can answer in the comment section for sure. But to be all the way transparent about these things, what she said, as much as people like it or as much as people disagree with it, what she said is her opinion. And if people do not like when people share their opinions publicly, you are going to have a hard time on social media. Social media has given people a platform to say whatever it is that they feel or they believe, and whatever they believe they understand. So that's here to stay, folks. Now, her timing on bringing that up while this woman was obviously there to be interviewed and not scolded or not judged, that was kind of a lame move on Jess Hilarious's part. Do I disagree or agree with either woman's stance or beliefs? I have my thoughts on both. But unfortunately, the content that we're discussing today is about Jess Hilarious basically taking somebody's moment to share her thoughts or her sentiments on what her beliefs are. Now, this is a very interesting scenario for me with me making my points and my analogies. Some people hate my analogies and my points. I don't care. That's why it's my platform and not yours. But the interesting thing about Jess Hilarious is that she was basically in so many ways trying to push her beliefs, her stance, and her understanding on how she sees the world and women on somebody that has a different view and a different belief. Was that right? No, I don't think that's right. Was that disrespectful because of the time and what everybody was there for? Yes, it was very disrespectful. Did this woman handle the situation like an adult and respectful? Yes, she did. So Jess Hilarious was wrong in that moment. Now, what I find unique about her being so wrong about something that she feels so right about, when this subject comes up, it's very difficult for both sides to have a true, clear, fair understanding, right? If you are considered straight or you are considered coming from the other side of the tracks as far as in, you know, how you identify yourself to who you choose to be with intimately, you're gonna have opposing opinions and beliefs. However, this is one of those times where I think people in the community truly, and when I say the community, I mean the LGBTQ community, have an opportunity to see it the way other people see it. And the reason why I say that is because Jess Hilarious was wrong. She was wrong in her approach, and she was wrong for taking that approach to try to push what she believes on somebody that believes differently. She's wrong for that. It's not about what kind of time we live in and cancel culture. That is wrong. That woman was there for an interview to promote herself, to promote her new show, share a little bit of game, a little bit of knowledge with the hosts. And Jess Hilarious decided to take a left turn. This is how sometimes some straight people feel, or some people that's not a part of that community feel, when there's so much propaganda or so much information being pushed on them about something that they don't believe in. That goes for parents. That goes for religious people. That goes for people that just have a totally different belief that isn't a parent or isn't religious. But this is one of those times where people have the opportunity, not just LGBTQ, I'm just saying for them particularly, but this is a time for people to get a clear understanding of what it looks like and what it feels like for somebody to come at you about something that you didn't ask for, something you're not here for, and something you're not interested in. This is one of those times. So yes, Jess Hilarious was wrong. Now, do I believe that this woman was wrong for whatever she's believing or whatever she stands behind? Absolutely not. I may disagree with some of her sentiments or, you know, what it is that she believes in, but I don't think she's wrong for moving the way she's moving, because that's her life, that's her choice, and that's what she believes her purpose is. Just like myself or the next person is entitled to believe what they want to believe, feel what they want to feel, and teach the people that are like-minded the same thing or the same message. So my thing with Jess Hilarious that I also think is funny is, and it's not funny as far as in laughing at her, but I've already made this point tons of times on the podcast. The thing that is really, really funny is how many, not just black people, black women are dragging Jess Hilarious through the mud. We've heard collectively, as people, as black people, we've heard so many different ways of protect black women. Black women are the most disrespected. Black women are all of these different things, right? They're going through all of these different things. And by the way, they're all true. All of them are true. But this is one of those times, too, where now I get to sit back in real time without forgetting, because I'm so busy, to think like, see, now, how do you protect this black woman, right? If there's been this movement of protect black women, and black women are the most disrespected. In a lot of cases, this is very true. How do you protect this black woman? Even how do you protect a black woman, or how do you protect black women even when they're dead wrong and offensive? Or do they even deserve, excuse me, do they even deserve protection? And who are supposed to protect them? These are real questions. Please leave that in the comments. TikTok, YouTube, you know where you can find us. Tell me, or tell the community or the culture, how do you support a Lynae Vanee? I think that's her name. Please forgive me. How do you support her and protect a Jess Hilarious at the same time when we have the discussion about protect black women and black women being the most disrespected? How is that possible? How do you protect them, and who's supposed to protect them? I ask this question because as much as I see black men getting bashed and getting dragged, I said it before and I'll say it again. Man, some of the most harsh things I've ever heard about black women, and sometimes ever seen about black women or even young black girls, comes from black women or black girls. And I can give you countless stories. But you know what? Instead of me just saying that and leaving it with a period, I'll give you an example. Let's go with the example of the young teenager that was found in a freezer days later at a hotel or a hotel party. And the allegations were that a group of young black girls that had a disagreement with her, didn't like her, put her in there. What about that? That's an example. When I see things on the internet when a black woman, or I'll give you an example, Stacey Dash. That's a great one right there. Remember y'all remember Stacey Dash? Remember how much she got dragged through the mud when she was talking about she wasn't a victim and all of these different things. She's still a black woman at the end of the day, right? Right? She's still a black woman at the end of the day, but she got dragged. Women, I've just seen it too much in my life, from a young child to now a grown man. Women can be so much more brutal and harsh and hurtful than men when it comes to each other. If you guys are in competition, if you feel like somebody is turning their nose up, or if you feel like they're rubbing their life in your face at your worst time, I've seen it. And I've seen so much vindictive behavior. Now, don't get me wrong. I love women. I love women. I have a woman of my own that I love dearly. We just celebrated our anniversary. So this ain't a woman bash thing, but I'm just finding so many different things that are interesting about this Jess Hilarious situation, because you have two black women that stand on two different sides of a belief. And then you have the general population, or the public, right? The court of public opinion going in. And now I haven't really seen anybody go in on the Lynae woman. And granted, like, that shouldn't happen. She didn't really do anything wrong. She was there for an interview. But the way that Jess Hilarious gets dragged when she speaks out about her perspective. Now, don't get me wrong. She's said some harsh things. I've seen video clips and stuff, debated if I wanted to throw it in the episode or not. But I've seen some of the harsh things, or some of the things that could be considered offensive that she said. There's things that she say that I agree with. You know, I come from a certain time. I've come from a certain type of family on beliefs and understanding and stuff like that. But I'm still aware enough to understand when something can be offensive, right? Now, what Jess Hilarious said on the Breakfast Club about having babies, is that offensive? I have two answers. To me, no. I'm a man. Straight up, I'm a man. Not a cis heterosexual male, because that's not how I was raised and what I was taught. And no, I'm a man. I am a black man. All right? It's not offensive to me. You know why? None of my business. That's women's business. Whatever women want to say about that, or how they feel about that, or that conversation or that interaction, that is their business, not mine. Now, I know that can spew off into other conversations. You know, even me talking about this right now, I can see some weirded out female that's hella mad about life saying, well, why are you speaking on women's business anyway? Man, this is news. Shut up. Sit down, eat some popcorn, enjoy yourself. It's still news. But when it gets to the complexities of a woman's body, the nature of it, the things that they endure, periods, things like that, it's not really any of our business. I mean, we can educate ourselves so we know how to maneuver around y'all when y'all going through it, but it's not our business to pick and choose who's right and wrong and who should say what and things of that nature about this specific topic. So, I mean, that's my point. Y'all let me know what you guys think as far as in the Jess Hilarious thing. I think it's, like I said, I think it's unfortunate. I cover these topics that are ratchet and crazy sometimes because it still has an effect on the community because there's so many viewers with opinions and feelings and experiences. So when I look at the Jess Hilarious thing, at the end of the day, despite what they're saying and what they're going through, or how out of control this has gotten as far as the internet and YouTube, the first thing that I see is two black women who look pretty successful in my eyes, having a disagreement and getting dragged. Not so much the other one, but, you know, despite how, you know, people may feel about Jess Hilarious, she's, you know, been given the nickname Less Hilarious. Now, every time somebody disagrees with this woman, they call her Less Hilarious. I think that's pretty cold, but I don't think we got to drag each other because we're offended, and I don't think we got to bash each other so much when we're triggered or we have a disagreement. And that is something that I think is going to take eons for black people to get. As funny as we are, as entertaining as we are, it just, man, when we have a disagreement with each other or when we feel offended with each other, we go in to the point where we're unsure. If we're on the other end of that, we're unsure if we can be forgiven or if we can even show our face. So we got to do a little bit better with that. I will say, before I close out, you know, this topic, is I find it funny that, and I feel like some of these people that were making these comments come from the LGBTQ community. I've seen a lot of comments where people were referencing, you know, she's just mad because people tend to say that she looks like a man. I've seen straight women say that, but I've seen a lot of people from the LGBTQ community say it as well. Mainly black folks. It's mainly black folks leaving a lot of these comments and sharing these thoughts. But the other thing, too, was they were saying that, you know, she's probably upset because people mistaken her for a trans woman. And then some people were saying that maybe she's just upset because her baby daddy or because somebody that she's dealing with probably was messing with a trans person. So that's where the transphobia comes from, or the homophobia comes from. I think that's pretty sick. Whether you're straight or not, I think that's sick when we start doing that to each other because we're mad. And the reason why I think that's sick is because I don't like it when black men stand up and they have a comment or they have feelings about something. And then the first thing that a lot of sisters want to say is, oh, you're just feminine. You're just, you know, you're the G word. You know, you're this. You just like boys. You like men. You like it like that. You know the things that are said. And it's like, black folks, again, that's the main way we choose to fight. That's not even the only fighting style that we have an option for or an option to use, but we consistently attack sexuality in humanity, in their humanity and their dignity and everything else because of a disagreement or because of ignorance. Some people say things that are stupid because they're literally ignorant to the fact on what the conversation is about. And we take that opportunity to drag and trash and everything else. Again, Jess Hilarious was wrong, but I don't know if she was that wrong to the point where people got to keep calling her a man, keep saying that her baby daddy is this because you're mad at something she said or you have a strong disagreement about something she said. And I'm saying this because the majority of the people that I see having this rebuttal in this conversation are black people. Do better. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about Jess Hilarious. Do you agree with some of the comments that's being made about her? Do you feel like she brought that on herself? Leave them comments. We're going to get into this Meg Thee Stallion situation too. Now, for the past few episodes, we've been kind of popcorn style the topics because there's more things that's been coming out and just going crazy, right? But I definitely wanted to talk about the Meg Thee Stallion situation because I need to know, how do you feel now? The people that were 100% in support of Meg Thee Stallion, and they were okay with the justice system in this moment in time, right? Or that moment in time. How do you feel now about the evidence? Does it change your mind? Does it not change your mind? Like, how do you feel? And while you're thinking about your answer, hopefully you're thinking about your answer and you're not just immediately saying whatever because you still ain't changed your answer. This is what I have to say about it. I definitely have some content that I will try to throw in this video as far as on what I'm talking about. But let's go ahead and go for it for people that's been living under a rock the past week. So there was a website by, people are alleging Tory Lanez's team and this congresswoman or whoever got together and they decided to launch a website. The website is called 36hourslater.com, I believe. On this website is a lot of information and a lot of footage that was compiled together for people to get an idea of what really the truth is, as well as a petition to get Tory Lanez out of prison. Now, the interesting thing about this information is the videos are either body cam of the officers that were on site the night that Meg Thee Stallion claimed that she was shot, and video clips and IG lives and stuff like that of Meg Thee Stallion in her own words describing and explaining the situation and what really happened. So for you guys that just got to watch the clips, how do you feel about it? For you guys that are just listening through audio, basically the clips that were shared were, for example, when the first female officer got on site, they asked Meg Thee Stallion what happened. Meg Thee Stallion was actually very nervous. One of the first things she asked was, "Well, hey, are we gonna go to jail?" She's like, "I don't know. If you guys cooperate, let us know what really happened and stuff like that. Maybe, we can figure something out." She's like, "Yeah, well, I can't go to jail. I can't mess up my image right now." And then she went on to ramble a couple things like, "Hey, I'm not really from here. What happened?" And she basically admitted right there on the spot that, what happened to her foot, stepped in glass. She says she stepped in glass. Now, there's other video footage of officers from a distance when she was being instructed by the police from a distance to move here, move there, put your hands up and stuff like that. They were saying in another video clip, this is all on the website, that she deliberately stepped in glass. There's another video clip. I watched all these, so this ain't me just alleging anything or assuming anything. There's a clip where she's in the hospital and they asked her what happened in the hospital, and she said that she stepped in glass. And if I'm not mistaken, that she said that she's done it before or something, but the whole point was she stepped in glass. When you go to her social media handle from around that same time after everything that happened, she claimed that she got shot. She claimed that they removed bullet fragments. She don't know why people keep saying she stepped in glass. And her story changes almost every single time. Almost every single time she's getting online or whatever, it keeps changing. Her image is not looking good right now. And to be honest, it's scenarios like this that make it so much more difficult for women that really did go through something to be taken seriously and believed. For example, while this is going on, Diddy has a trial going on right now where basically he's done some of the most heinous stuff to women, allegedly, because he hasn't been convicted yet, right? Then you have a woman over here with a platform, with power, I say with air quotes, because everybody says that celebrities and famous people have power, was able to get this man locked up with lack of evidence, and all of this stuff was missing. I'm guessing this stuff wasn't included. There's another video where the witness on hand that was supposed to testify on behalf of Tory Lanez' team, telling the story of what really happened. Matter of fact, I think there's a clip of Meg Thee Stallion saying that no, he didn't shoot her or whatever the case. Or he didn't do something to her because he'd have to reach all the way over a certain type of way because he was in the back seat.
Ma'am, do you think we're gonna go to jail?
What's that?
Do you think we're gonna go to jail?
I don't know. We're trying to figure it all out. As long as you guys cooperate with us and you guys tell us what happened, we'll go accordingly, okay? But if you guys are not telling us, if you guys are, then I don't think...
I really cannot go to jail.
Okay.
I cannot have that on my image.
Okay. So how did that happen to you?
Glass.
Glass? Where?
Where we were coming from.
Hey, can we get a sheet for
I'm not from here, so I...
Okay.
That's the only place you got shot at? That's the only place you got shot?
I didn't get shot.
Oh, you did it?
No, ma'am. I mean, no, sir.
Is the one you called for?
Yeah.
And so what happened with you were just walking on stepping on glass. I have another cut on my right foot. I just stepped on glass the other day. So you were already hurt when you got into the room. And then at that point, your friends were already grabbed you and went to the hospital.
Here's the thing that I think everybody really wants to talk about that I feel like gets lost in who's lying and who's telling the truth. Here's my personal theory on what I think happened and what most people believe to happen. The theory is, and the belief that most of us have, right, is that there was already some tension leaving Kylie Jenner's house that night, right? And then what ended up happening is they ended up getting into an argument while they were in the car. While they were in the car arguing, it came out that Tory was messing with Meg or messing with her friend Kelsey when he was supposed to be messing with one of them, okay? What ended up happening is the two females ended up fighting. That's why if you look on this same website I'm telling you about, you'll see her friend's legs scratched up as like she's been in a fight. From the front and the back of her legs, thighs, and everything is scratched up like she's been in a serious fight, right? So they get in a fight. Somebody pulls the thing out, the thing, right? And they let the thing go off a couple times. Tory tries to play Axel Foley from Beverly Hills Cops and break up the situation, knock the gun out, and then he gets the blame. Why does he get the blame? He gets the blame because he pissed two women off, on an emotional and sexual level. This is what happens when you play with the wrong person's feelings. Fellas, the reason why I'm even covering this in this context is I want to talk to the men right now. Super successful or unsuccessful. You need to be careful who you are messing with, who you are dating, and who you are talking to. And for you players out there, all right, for y'all that want to be player and don't want to have multiple women, man, be careful with these women's feelings and know whose feelings you playing with, because they can get you locked up in a situation like Tory Lanez because some information that came out because you was playing with their feelings and you end up like this dude. Now, there's all kinds of conspiracy theories out there from Rock Nation to Jay-Z and all of this different stuff and how this plays a role in what. But one thing that I will say, fellas, be careful, man. Be careful, because this dude is recovering from about 14 stab wounds, wrongfully convicted. Listen, because the evidence is out and we can see everything and we see where Meg was lying and recanting stories. And I mean, even with her friend getting immunity, why do you need immunity if you didn't do anything? Right? Because this information is out, we now know that Tory is innocent. He should not be in prison. The question is the judicial system going to see it that way? And is there going to be a retrial or a release, or what's going to happen? And then on top of that, if he were to get released, do we really think that it's okay for Meg Thee Stallion to just walk freely after the lies, or should she be doing some time? These are my questions. Now, I want to tie this into something that I think is funny, just like I did with the Jess Hilarious situation. Black people, we have to pick a side. And I'm going to tell you what I mean. We always complain and always get upset about the judicial system and how shady the courts are, and we don't ever get no justice. But the minute somebody gets convicted that we personally don't like, even though we've never met, aka an athlete or a celebrity, we want to say that justice was served and it was proven in court. Okay, to the women out there that are still supporting Meg Thee Stallion, this is what I'm going to say to you, and I don't care how much it pisses you off because it's the facts. For you women out there that are still claiming that Tory Lanez is guilty, even with all the proof right there in your face, even with Meg Thee Stallion lying, okay? There's body cam footage. There's footage of her saying it out of her own mouth. I don't care about the assumptions of her trying to protect a black man or whatever the case it was. She lied. Her and her friend lied. So if you guys are okay with the justice system locking somebody up off of lies, or you know what? I won't even say that. I ain't even going to make it that challenging. If you guys are okay with the outcome of a court proceeding because it benefits how you feel about the person being prosecuted, don't say anything to any men that don't want to believe women when something happens to them and those guys get off for the offense. If you're going to believe in that court system because it caters to the way you feel about the defendant, then you got to take the L and take it off the chin when somebody that is guilty walks away using that same judicial system. Black people, we got to pick a side with this. We can't say that justice was served because it's served to somebody we don't like. But then when justice isn't served to somebody that is guilty, we want to talk about how flawed the system is. The system is flawed in general. We shouldn't celebrate small wins, and we shouldn't be crying over big losses. We should be trying to figure out a way to raise and influence the younger generation to fix the system so things are done right. So the people that are guilty really do get locked up. And the people that aren't guilty get to walk away. There's not enough evidence. This person clearly didn't do this. The story doesn't match. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I'm going to tell y'all something else y'all might not like. Some of these victims in this Diddy trial are shaky. The defense is going in on some of these people with proof. That's the cold part, with proof using their own words. Now, we already know Diddy is guilty for being a woman beater. And he's guilty for, basically how he treated Cassie. But let's keep it 100. There's some people that's in there testifying and that got civil cases and their stories are not matching up. So that's all I'm saying. But you gotta appreciate both sides of the law if you're gonna play that game. Meg Thee Stallion was lying. I hope there's a large group of women that were in support of her have now changed their mind because of the evidence that's been put out there. Now, I will tell you guys on a political level, I do not remember this woman's name that was really talking heavy about the information that was going to come out before it came out. I do want you guys to understand with this Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion situation, there are politicians involved trying to push a narrative. Okay, I can't remember this woman's name. Sorry about that. I'll try to leave it in the video description. But what I mean by this Tory Lanez situation being political is there was a Republican woman behind, played a big role in helping roll out this information to hopefully exonerate Tory Lanez, right? Or prove his innocence, right? And the reason why there's a political agenda behind it is because she's a Republican Republican representative, and her point was to highlight the corruption in the Democratic Party and the way the Democrats do things. So I just want you to know that regardless of what direction this goes with Tory Lanez, the person that was involved with helping out with getting this website together and pushing this information that she claimed that she had access to, she has her own agenda. Now, I don't know if she's really in support of the culture or the community. I don't know that much about her. I'll do some research on her, but just keep that in mind, y'all, because we've always heard the saying that while they distract us over here, they're doing something over there. All right, so just keep that in mind too. Just want y'all to keep that in mind. Like I said, I'm a little sick to my stomach with Meg The Stallion. We're in a very, very vulnerable time as a people, black people, but as an era as well, because there's a whole lot of people that's doing a whole lot of wrong and walking away without consequence. And then there's a whole lot of people that are true victims and they don't get justice, and they just live in trauma, or are currently living in trauma. And we're seeing that with all of these different things that are going on. But I'll tell you this, fellas, my message about the Meg Thee Stallion situation, this is a good example of why you need to be very careful with who you dealing with. And yeah, it may sound cool and it may sound funny for a song to say you messing with one girl and messing with her best friend, but look at what happened with Tory Lanez. You mess with a girl famous enough and her best friend, and they can get you packed up and shipped out for 10 years. So just be careful with how you move. Personally, I would say just rock with one woman and build off of that, but some of y'all might be a little greedy, but I'm gonna tell you right now, man, it ain't worth it. Just be careful the company you keep. Be careful of the woman you choose and who you bring her around and what you're exposed to and she exposes you to. So really be careful of that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some great women out there, but man, there's some ones that'll do a number on you, man, a number you ain't never seen before, and now you stuck on stupid, scratching your head wondering how you got here. So I hope Tory Lanez gets out, and I hope that true justice gets served with the Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion case. For real. Getting into it again. For those that don't know, Wack 100. We got to talk about Wack 100 for a minute. His name has always been floating around for years, just in culture and stuff like that. He's been talking a lot, saying a lot of stuff. A lot of times he does I'm going to be real, Wack 100 does make sense in certain things regarding street politics and stuff like that. Some people want to call him the feds. They say he's the Black Vlad. All of these different, he actually done some interviews with Vlad. But the reason why Wack 100 is starting to circulate a little bit more than normal is because he's been basically very confident in saying that he has some footage of the late, great Nipsey Hussle that may be very damaging to his legacy. All right. He's been saying this for years. I'm bringing this up because he's tied certain things into Lauren London, and Lauren London's names have been floating around for a few weeks regarding Diddy and Cassie. So the thing with Wack 100, he says that he has a sex tape involving Nipsey Hussle and another guy from Louisiana and his and his baby mama. Some people have gotten that confused and said with Lauren London, but it's with his daughter. I'm guessing his daughter's mom. Now, the people that call BS on Wack 100, Wack 100 gave a rebuttal. He said, for anybody that want to see what I got on hand to tape, because, he's like the tape king. Every time you see him in an interview, I got a tape of this, I got a tape of that. He probably got a tape of everybody. I don't know, right? But for those that challenge him when he goes on platforms, he says, how much are you willing to pay for how many seconds of the footage that I have? Now, I don't know how he could get himself in trouble with that, but I mean, that could be, if the baby mom is actually wise and even his family is actually wise, they probably could get him. They could get some charges put on him for revenge, for revenge porn, or whatever they have charges for when you're leaking somebody's private information out, literally private, like that. He could get himself tied up. So I don't know if that's wise for Wack to keep running around saying he'll show this footage to people that'll pay, and he's got it and he hasn't released it. And apparently he hasn't released the footage. I forget what he said. He said there's a reason why he hasn't put it out there, but nobody's seen it. He has the copy. But his argument was, okay, if you don't believe me, pay me some money and I'll show you X amount of time frame of what I have on hand. And he said if he is lying, he also explained, well, then why hasn't the woman come forward that's involved in the tape? Well, that's a little complex because even though you can look up who Nipsey Hussle's daughter's mother is, at the same time, you never said anybody's name, Wack. So that kind of makes it a little challenging. We don't know if he has outside babies out there that nobody knows about. We don't know because you're saying baby mama. Nip could have had 1 or 2 baby mamas that nobody knew about. For the longest, a lot of us didn't know that Dr. Dre had a son that's well into his 30s, damn near 40, until that stuff came out years down the line. So we don't know really what, I say in air quotes, what baby mama you could be talking about, Wack. But he does seem confident. I think it's, for me, the thing that bothers me about when things like this happen after somebody passes away is that person can't defend themselves, right? That person only has the people that are that person is living through because they're no longer here. He can't defend himself. So I'm really not a fan of this conversation floating around about Nipsey Hussle and what he done with this person or that person while the man wasn't here. Honestly, it's hard for me to respect it. I would have respected it more if this stuff was being said at the very height peak of his popularity and maybe that person and Nip, meaning Wack, actually had a conversation about it. But I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it. I feel like, let people rest in peace. Let their families continue to grieve and heal in peace and just move along. Cool, you got a tape. But it ties into the Lauren London a little bit because now she's been under fire because of the Diddy case with her. Now there's claims that she, and I think Wack spoke on this too. I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this, because Wack was kind of insinuating. He didn't really say directly, but he was insinuating that Lauren London was a little too involved with Diddy and Cassie, meaning that, she was friends with Diddy. She was the one that introduced Diddy to Nip. And then on top of that, Cassie was one of her best friends. They used to be best friends. That's like the second or third girl I've heard that used to be best friends with Cassie. And that's what's been drawing me a red flag for her as far as in how she was moving back around that time. Because why are you losing all these best friends? But that's for another conversation. But with her being named as far as in being close to Cassie during this Diddy trial and, her introducing Diddy to Nip, now people are under the belief, which I feel like Wack was insinuating, that she was messing with Diddy and, they had a thing and why, and then the clip came up where they were listening to the Marathon album and they're like trying to break pieces down of like how Diddy was talking to Nip and how Nip, and I'm just like, that's the internet for you. That's the internet. Now, here's what I believe. I don't believe Lauren London was messing with Diddy. What I do believe is that people need to pay attention. Lauren London had her own career path, and a lot of people think that they know when the first time they've seen Lauren London. I said on a past episode, my earliest memory of Lauren London was the Jay-Z Pharrell music video. Okay? It was the Frontin' video. For y'all that don't know, it's classic. She was one of the girls in the video, knocked on the door at Pharrell's house, whatever the case was. She was also in a Snoop Dogg video. I forget what it was called. It was the Snoop Dogg video where the little kid had a voodoo doll of Snoop Dogg. And Lauren London plays one of the girl walking by and distracting the police officer, played by Tommy Davidson. These are all videos years before you seen her as Nunu in ATL. So she's been working in the industry, okay? So is it wild that she could have built a rapport with a Diddy at some point if she's been in videos for Pharrell, Snoop Dogg, and Jay-Z, who are very huge names and very legendary names in the industry? That's not impossible. But it's weird that we have this thing where just because of who somebody's connected to means that they're implicated or they did something negative. And let's keep it real. If that's really how things worked, a lot of us would lose a lot of great opportunities as far as life, jobs, relationships, just because of who we were affiliated with, who ended up being somebody crazy or somebody wild. So I'm still sticking with supporting Lauren London. I think she's been through enough drama, enough trauma, and she's just trying to raise her kids the best way she can after the passing of Nip. That's what I'll say. I just think that we hear somebody's name and black folks, we run to it. Black people cannot say as a collective that we are not conspiracy theorists. I'm sorry. Especially with old sayings that grandma done said to us or grandpa, whoever. We cannot say that we are not some conspiracy theorists, because every time a name get connected to a situation or another person involved in a situation, we're like, oh yeah, it makes sense. And now we trying to create a treasure map on how crazy something is by taking clips and tweets and posts. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people are great investigators and they put some stuff together where it's like, man, I don't know how to refute or argue this. But man, black people cannot say we are not some conspiracy theorists, because I think that is wild. I'm gonna just keep it 100. I think it's wild. But yeah, I don't know what's gonna come from the whole Wack 100 situation, and the tape. I don't even know if this tape will ever come out as far as what he's saying about Nipsey. Honestly, I hope it never does if it is true, and it does really exist. Because I just think it's terrible to do that to somebody. Like, they're not here anymore to defend themselves. I mean, it's a cash grab or a popularity or a clout chase at this point to do something like that. Just my take. But before I get out of here, because we got a little bit of time left, I'm going to cover it. I had to cover this nasty, what was it? The last episode was Papoose and Remy. And now we have, again, for the 100,000th time, Offset and Cardi B. Look, I'm so sick of them. You know what? I am sick of the fact that these individuals are the representation of black love for a lot of these younger people. And the reason why I say these younger people is because people that are my age or around my age and older, we know what the true example of black love is, right? And even now, because of the internet, when that black love says something, when they mistakenly say something, or when they say something that's being taken out of context, it turns into a whole other thing where we want to dissect the relationship. But since we're talking about pure disappointment and ratchetness, Offset requested spousal support from Cardi B. And I'm not going to lie. When I first seen the article, I laughed. Do I think that Offset needs Cardi B's money? Hell no. But could he be entitled to it because of, financial differences, or because of, them raising the kids and who's more busy? I mean, it could be a situation. But
hey, bitch, you're going to call the Breakfast Club, and because you feel less of a man, you're going to be like, oh, because she's trying to take everything. Take what? Nigga, take what? You want, matter of fact, you want that house in Atlanta? All right, let's sell it. Give me my half. Give me my half of the house. All you got to do is give me my half of the house, and you can keep it. You want them fucking cars and fucking bags and blah, blah, blah that you gave me? All right, give me the same shit too. I give you the rings that you bought me, and you give me the ring that I bought you. I could have a good month. I could have a bad month. I could be depressed. I could be in a fucking room. But guess what? I have to pay that bill. No help. With no help. No nigga. Nobody. Me. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Those are my kids. I'm cool with that. Shit don't faze me. But you're not going to sit here and try to bash me as a mother when I pay for everything. Because you left me with a bill for a whole entire year. And I haven't said a thing. You don't even offer, nigga. So stop playing with me.
what I did find funny is a lot of women that disagreed with it. This is part of the marriage game, just like the child support game. What I think is funny is, it's only to me, I don't believe that all women feel this way. All right? But there's so many women out there that think that it's okay for Juanita Jordan to get half of Michael Jordan's billion when they first divorced. Okay? I do think a woman is entitled to percentages based off of what she's contributed to that man's success. If they're married, not if they have kids together, if they were married, especially if things didn't pop off until after the marriage, right? I do believe in that. I'm a married man myself. I believe that if God forbid something happened between me and my wife, I do think she deserves certain things coming from me. Matter of fact, I would try to settle it before it got bad. Like, listen, you get this, you get this, you get this. I'll make sure this is taken care of. I believe in that. But what I think is insane is, I mean, who is it? Was it Mackenzie Bezos? When they divorced, she got like 120 billion. Seriously? Now, the only reason why I could see where she deserves a whole lot was because she was rocking with him when Amazon was trying everything in the book to survive. So she definitely didn't deserve to walk away, you know, with zero or little to nothing. But I am conflicted based off of certain things that I got a chance to understand about these rich people problems. A lot of us say lifestyle. A lot of us say like, oh, well, people need support because of lifestyle and this, that, and the other. So that's why a lot of women get X, Y, and Z. When I started hearing some of the things that these little kids get coming from rich parents, some of these amounts kind of make sense, you know, but I think when Cardi B did her rant, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it and pull it up, put it there because it's long. She gets on live a lot, which to me is even more embarrassing. Not just her though, even Offset. When black celebrities get online and start airing out their dirty laundry, it's embarrassing as hell. But she got online and she started breaking everything down, like piano lessons, $300 an hour. Like, damn, nigga, who's teaching these lessons? Elton John and John Legend together? You know, just different things like that cost a lot of money. Yeah, that could rack up some serious thousands a month. But I laugh when I see a lot of women, and then what they do, right, is they tell on themselves, right? A lot of women will be like, oh, wow, he acting like a female, this, that, and the other. I'm like, wait, well, hold on, what? Him asking for a large amount of money in spousal support has him acting like a what? You got me doing a Hulk Hogan. The what? Women? So you guys agree that women consistently do this. Now, do I think he needs the money? Just from what I see, no. Buying cars after cheating and stuff like, no, I don't see that he needs the money. Does Cardi B have a right to be angry? Yeah. Any person that makes a lot of money and their ex was trying to come back and get that money, yeah, she has definitely a good reason to be mad. But seeing the women get triggered about this type of thing lets me know that maybe some of these women do understand when these entertainers, athletes, or just men that have decent money or affluent go through these things. So you do understand. So it's just biased. I'm starting to learn from social media that a lot of people are not operating from morals or laws or rules. They're operating from bias. Because when the roles are reversed, a lot of times people either agree or disagree if it's beneficial to how they personally feel. That's just what the facts are. So I'm not going to sit up here and say, hey, I hope Offset gets the money. I just hope that more people, more women that are on the side of Cardi B have a little bit more empathy and understanding when there's a successful man out there and you could tell that there's a woman trying to come in and take half or take him to the cleaners just because he got it like that and they're no longer together. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying have more compassion and empathy for some of these men that go through that. For example, a lot of us are kind of waiting for Travis Hunter to go through that. People believe that Travis Hunter is going to go through that same scenario with this woman that he's with. But you know what? Travis Hunter may prove us all wrong. And the reason why I say us is because I do agree with the majority on this one. It just doesn't, there's something off about that connection with that young man and that girl. But he's a grown man. She's a grown woman. They can make their choices. But we might see that we might be right back here again on the Notion podcast talking about, see, look what happened to old Travis Hunter, man, damn. Or we could be back like, damn, we was all wrong. Maybe we need to shut up. Maybe we should do that regardless. I don't know. But what I do know is with Cardi B and Offset, I mean, for women that are on the side of Cardi B, I feel you. For Cardi B being upset, somebody trying to take her money and she just wants to get out of the situation, I understand. But what I understand more than anything with these whole situations, this is why you don't get your ass on the internet and run your mouth about your relationship. I had a point in my life where with me and my wife, we would post things and stuff like that. And then I started reading like articles about when you post really good things, because we all know, we've said it before. My two co-hosts have said it all the time on the podcast. Social media is a highlight reel. Now, the crazy thing is, it don't feel like a highlight reel when people are beefing. It feel like facts after facts after facts, right? But what I learned about this highlight reel is when you are doing well and you are doing great, and you're posting about it, your kids, your spouse, your house, all of these different things, there may be a handful of people that like it, but there's a lot of people that hate it. There's a lot of people that hate when you're doing well. So when you do post things that are negative and things that aren't going well, or you post subliminals about your significant other, you post subliminals about how things are going in your life right now, there's a lot of people celebrating. That's why I've learned to shut my mouth. You won't know when I'm happy. You won't know when I'm upset. You won't know when my family is going through a lot, and you won't know when we're on cloud nine. Right now, we could be living in a 10-bedroom mansion. Probably not going to know about it. Right now, we could probably only have $1 to our name. You won't know about it because social media and the general population do not care. The majority of people are biased and they're trying to find something to connect to. So while everybody has an opinion about if they're on Cardi B's side, if they're on Offset's side, they really, really don't care. They're just basically connecting to whatever emotions they're feeling. So for a lot of women that agree with Cardi B, they're probably not in a healthy, they're probably not in the healthiest relationship. And if they are in the healthy relationship, they're probably reflecting on a bad relationship where a man took much from them. And the same thing with these dudes. I don't really hear a whole bunch of dudes talking about Offset like, yeah. I mean, there might be some dudes that's paying child support and paying spousal support. Like, yeah, I want to see a man win because I didn't win. Whatever the case it is. But when I see people that look like us in entertainment embarrassing themselves, embarrassing their family and their legacy, it's really tough to watch. It's really tough to watch, and it gets a little discouraging because it's like we've seen it with Will and Jada. We've seen it with Remy and Papoose. We've seen it with now Cardi B and Offset for the 100th time. And the weird thing about when these people go in these positions, in these scenarios, you want to know what all three of these couples have in common that I named? When they were going through tough times or pretty much breakup status, they were literally in public with somebody else as if they didn't have a spouse at home. That is not the representation for Black love and success and Black excellence. I mean, shout out to the Obamas, but even they got a couple strays thrown at them because of certain statements Michelle Obama made talking about things in the past or whatever the case it was. The point that I'm making is you really can't even talk about your relationship or your experiences like that without someone or a group of people critiquing and criticizing you as a husband or a wife or how you raise your kids. So in my opinion, in my belief, my humble belief, man, keep your stuff off the internet, because the internet will try to destroy you or figure you out. And in the process of trying to figure you out, accidentally destroy you just to make a point. I can't wait until Cardi B and Offset get off the internet with their business, just like I can't wait for Papoose and Remy Ma to get their asses off the internet with their business. Black people, look at these things as an example of what not to do, whether it's Offset and Cardi B, whether it's Jess Hilarious and her situation. What else did we talk about? We also talked about the Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez thing. Another thing before I get out of here, and I'm going to make this real brief. For another example of what I'm talking about with relationships, Zion Williamson. I know y'all have seen that for ladies that are tuning in. Zion Williamson was pretty much projected to be the next LeBron James, but he just couldn't keep his weight off. He out there messing with all these women. He has allegations against him in civil court. His ex-girlfriend, who is a current adult film star, I think her name is Mariah Mills, is suing him for some mills because he allegedly graped her. I'm not saying you can't grape your significant other, but whoa. He's going through a civil suit. As of right now, he is innocent until proven guilty. Yes, I said a civil suit, so he ain't gonna be doing no jail time if he loses this case. And of course, this woman reached out to Tony Busby. Yep, the guy that represents the prosecution for a lot of rich black men who are getting sued by a lot of women that want money right now. Now, who knows? He might settle, but fellas, young men, if you are young, if you are between like the age of 18 and 25 and you're projected to be somebody great or you're making great money, protect yourself. Go find that nerdy ass girl that you think is cute that you're afraid to date because your homeboys is going to laugh at you, and go lock down with her if you're going to go lock down with a female. Stop chasing porn stars. Stop chasing IG baddies. Stop chasing women that say 50-50 ain't enough or whatever. Anything regarding materialism with these women, do not go knocking on their door looking for loyalty, looking for respect, and looking for protection, okay? Because they are not going to give it to you. They are going to light you up. These women are not playing. These women that are getting these guys in trouble and filing these civil suits for some very heinous things to just file a civil suit for, by the way, but that's another conversation. They're not playing with you. They're very calculated. They're watching the draft. They're at the games. Yep, you better go watch Love and Basketball when Zeke McCall was talking to Quincy and he was telling him of how difficult it was to fight the temptation when he cheated on his mom. That's real. These women will jump hurdles to get that dude. There's a saying that I heard. My boy Huss told me. I forget where he got it from, but I'm going to leave you with these words before I get out of here. With all of these guys that are getting in these situations with child support, with allegations towards them, and they're truly innocent, I want you guys to understand something. If you're successful and you're trying to ride that clean wave, I need you guys to understand this. There's a lot of women out there in the world, okay? They're starving. But don't think that these women like you because of you and you're bringing all of this other stuff to the table that's unheard of, that the average man don't have. Because a lot of these cute, bad, crazy, sexual women are just waiting at the finish line to smash the winner. And some people know that and they still take that dice roll. But I'm telling you, get your stuff together, man. Anyways, I'm finna go ahead and I'm finna get out of here. You've been tuning to the Notion Podcast. I am your host, Dizzy D Spill. I know you didn't like what I was saying today. I know some of you liked what I was saying today. Either way, if you want to let me know how you feel, you want to let us know how you feel when you're listening to us on this platform, leave comments below on all platforms that you tune into us on, all right? Like, subscribe, turn the notifications on at the bell. Anyways, until next time,